it going, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for this very special outdoors edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. I'm your host, Gavin Neville, and we're joined, as always, by the head coach, Gary Puccio. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing fine, Gavin. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Beautiful day in New Jersey.
Okay, if you say so.
We have a pretty good week for you guys last weekend. Played Mount St. Mary's, who came in as one of the lower teams in the Northeast Conference. It didn't really start off too well for you as they took the first two games of the series, but you were able to bounce back and win the last two. Were you happy with how the series ended, at least?
Yeah, one of the things I try to stress to the players is just because a team has a poor record doesn't mean they're necessarily a poor team. You get bad breaks and stuff, and if you look at the scores Mount had with Monmouth, I think they lost 4 games by 2 runs or less. So they're a very competitive team. They're an outstanding hitting team, and I told our guys that. I said they're going to hit, and they obviously did. And obviously we've won 3 out of 4 at home all year long. It would have been nice to have done that one more time. But the bottom line is we ended up finishing where we never lost a series at home this year. And if you would have told me that at the start of the season, I would have signed up for that right then and there.
Well, in that first game, which the Mount won 7-4, you out-hit them 13-10. But so what was the message after Friday's game?
I was a little bit annoyed Friday. I cannot deny that. My feeling Friday was that we were playing a little bit scared. Obviously, again, a young team and older players who never really have been in a playoff-type atmosphere where every win now becomes vital and important. And I just felt we played very scared that day. We had 13 hits, like you said, but we just never seemed to get a clutch hit, which has really been the mark of this team all year long, is getting that clutch hit. So I was a little bit upset. I felt we weren't swinging the bats enough. And I think I kind of voiced my opinion after the game with them. And somehow Saturday afternoon they seemed to find a way to turn around.
As you mentioned, on Saturday you guys were able to bounce back and split the doubleheader. But in the first game, Mount got another win, 9-5. Was there a point when you said we might lose this series?
Oh, believe me, there was definitely that point. I was my assistant coaches kind of seemed to be a little calmer about things than I am, and they kept telling me, just relax. But when you're in that situation, you know you're that close and you're knocking on the door, and another win or two puts you over the top, you kind of feel like, hey, let's get over with as quick as we can. And that was my concern. Losing that second game definitely made me feel like this could be a very troublesome weekend.
Then in the second game of the doubleheader, you're down late again. It looked like they might have won 3 in a row, and then Matt Holzman comes to the plate and just crushes the ball over the left field wall for a grand slam. So how much did that help? Obviously for the standings to get the win, but just to get the monkey off your back to know that you're not going to lose the series.
I think that game, the magic, there's been magic this season. There's no argument that there's things that have gone on that are just incredible. And that whole inning, Mike Eliasen led off with a bunt base hit. JT Sherber, who's hitting about 170 this year, hits a base hit up the middle. We got first and second. Shane gets hit by a pitch to load the bases, and all of a sudden the 7, 8, 9 hitters all have gotten on. There's no out. And Matty Holzman, first pitch, grand slam home run. Instead of being down 6-3, we're up 7-6. And I think just as impressive was right after that, Jordan Ritz gets on, steals second. Kresge, team at bat, moves him over to third with a ground out on the right side. And Anderson drives him home with a ground ball in the infield with Ritz breaking for home and beating the play. And then Kyle fouls with another home run. So, yeah, I think Matt's homer just made everybody relax again. And in my mind, Matt's home run was the biggest hit since I've been here, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that is the hit that put us back on the playoff train.
And then on Sunday, you were able to salvage a split in the series. You had another big home run from Anderson. And then Eliasen, it's just another day at the office for him, a complete game, gives up 1 run. So, and it was senior day. It was a very nice ceremony. What does it mean for you and for the guys to get the win on senior day?
Well, first of all, I think Mike's 6-1 now in the league. He's just outstanding, and he's going to give you a great effort, and you always have a great opportunity to win. Eric's 2-run homer was big, and then Kyle fouled up with another home run, his second homer in 2 days, and that kind of iced the game for us. Winning on senior day is special. Those seniors have been special all year. I couldn't be happier that they have a great shot at leaving here as a playoff team. Those kids have been through a lot. They've suffered through 2 seasons of finishing last, 1 season of finishing next to last, and for them to leave here as a playoff team, and hopefully that's where we're heading, that just says a lot of things. And those seniors are special to me. They've been terrific to me. Their parents have been terrific. It was just a real nice weekend and a real nice day for them, and I'm glad for them.
And then one of the traditions that you've always had is you name the captains for next year at your last home game. So could you talk about who you've chosen to be your leaders moving forward and what they bring to the table?
Yeah, I think it has been a tradition that I've just always tried to keep with, that on senior day we kind of pass the torch to the next group of captains so that the next time we play home, obviously they'd be our leaders. And I got 3. We're going to go with tri-captains next year. We got 3, I think, outstanding kids that are going to help lead us. Obviously, Eric Anderson, who's been a monster hitter for us, and he's been a terrific player since the day I've been here. He's pitched for me, hit for us, and just done a lot of stuff. He'll be one of the senior captains along with Kyle Weeks, who had a phenomenal season for us, and Kyle just plays the game exactly the way I love the game played. He plays hard, and he gets upset when he doesn't get it done, and then he refocuses and goes out there and plays as good a defense as you're going to see. I mean, that kid's had some incredible plays all year long. So Eric and Kyle will be the senior captains, and we're going to go with a sophomore captain who will, assuming everything works out, be the captain and the leader of the team for the next 3 years, and that's Eric Schneider.
And I guess it was fitting that your captain this year had a great performance on senior day with Mike Eliasen. So could you talk about his performance and just the whole leadership that he's brought to the whole team?
It's funny. The other day we were thinking about, I was just thinking about like some of the greatest captains I've ever had in my career. And I think Mike's probably the best I've ever had. He just did a remarkable job of keeping the team together. And him and Ryan together. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Ryan either, because they're just a great mix together. Mike's vocal, he's a strong leader, he's a gung-ho kid, he gets everybody pumped up. I mean, if you come to a game, you'll hear Mike in the dugout, whether he's playing, not playing, whatever's going on, you can hear him loud and clear, screaming and yelling, leading the team. And Ryan leads by example. The kid's as good a player as you have. He's steady, he goes out there, he gives you 100% every day. They're just a great combination, and they're the big reason we're where we are. The seniors have had a lot to do with the success of the team, melding in with some terrific new players that have done a great job as well. So it's just been a great mix, and Mike and Ryan are a lot of the reason for that.
Well, we had a chance to talk with Mike about being in the home stretch of his senior season. We are here in the dugout of the Namoli Family Baseball Complex with senior captain Mike Eliasen. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Gavin.
So you're in the middle of one of the best pitching seasons in single-season history. So I guess what has been the key to your success so far?
Honestly, it's probably our defense this year. Coach did a great job recruiting, brought in a lot of good defense behind me. So, I haven't had that really in the past. And, it just helps when you have that confidence on the mound to be able to just throw strikes knowing that you don't have to strike anybody out and you can have the defense behind you to do all the work.
So, of course, the big news is the magic number is down to one win or a loss by Wagner. So what does that mean to you to be on the verge of a playoff berth after kind of the seasons that you went through to get here?
It's insane, actually. I never really thought about it. The last 3 years have been long seasons, and just it's just pretty special to know that I'm a senior and this is our senior year and we're doing this now, and being able to go out on a good note would be something pretty special.
So you, obviously, people who watch you on the field, you show a lot of emotion out there. Where does that come from, and do you kind of look at that as you have to be the emotional leader of the team?
It's just the way I've been, just the way I've played. I've been like that my whole life, all the way back to Little League. And, it's just something that stuck with me. It gets me pumped up. It keeps me, I might look like I'm not focused, but I really am. I'm just extra pumped up. I know that it keeps the guys pumped up in the dugout, and it keeps everybody's momentum, keeps the momentum going on our side.
So going back and forth, you play a little third base, and then also on the mound. So how has that been, kind of going back and forth and kind of balance the two?
It hasn't been that bad. Coach has done a great job with, resting me, maybe some midweek games, and at practice, it works out that I play the first 3 games most of the time, and I pitch the 4th. Some weeks we don't do it that way, but for the most part, it's been all right. I just make sure I get my long toss in multiple times during the week, and just make sure I stay stretched, and and that's really it.
Well, Mike, thank you for your time, and we'll hope to get a few more wins this weekend.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thank you. So on Sunday, Mike Eliasen won the 17th game for you guys in the NEC this year. It's the most for any conference that you've been in. So as you're going through the season, do you kind of look at it as we're doing something that's never been done before?
If you would have told me at the start of the season that we were going to have this much of a historical year, like you said, 17 wins, the most they've ever had in the Northeast Conference, and apparently the most they've ever had in any conference FDU's ever been in. That's just a remarkable thing. I mean, it just says an awful lot about how well this team has come together and how quickly they've come together. And no, there's no way in the world I expected it to be as good as it's been. But it's pretty nice to be there.
A win by you guys in one of the 4 games against LLU Brooklyn or a loss by Wagner would clinch FDU's first NEC playoff berth since 1999. So the question is, what were you doing in 1999?
I guess that was the year coming off of after finishing up at Manhattan when we had won 20-something games there for the first time in like 95 years there, which was pretty cool. So it's a long time ago, though. You're asking me things that are, ancient history for me. I mean, I know these kids, they laugh when I talk about teams I coached back in the 80s and stuff, and they're like, Coach, we weren't born yet. So.
But looking ahead to this weekend, then, what do you expect to see from your guys? Do you think that they'll have a lot of pressure on them, or you think they'll be loose and just play their game?
I think the pressure was this weekend playing Mount St. Mary's to, get those couple extra wins that we needed to have to secure a spot. Obviously, it's not over yet. We have to win another game, or Wagner has to lose a game. Wagner is playing Bryant 4 games. Bryant's been incredible all year. If Wagner goes out and sweeps Bryant, I'm going to just tip my hat to them if they can do that. And if we don't win a game against LIU, well, then we don't really deserve it. So I think it's in our hands. It's in our hands to control, and we've been basically controlling it all year long. And there's no reason not to finish on a high note. And hopefully we will. And we'll be doing our first playoff edition of the Baseball Nights Roundup next week.
That would be a first as well for this historic season all the way through. But, Coach, thank you for your time this week.
Thank you, Gavin.
And we'll see you next week for another edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup.